Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for spirit travel and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Dwight, aka DeBlanco, a medium that wears an extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Let me know how am I doing. Am I doing a good job, a bad job, or maybe I shouldn't quit my day job? Now, like I do each and every single episode, hit that follow, like, subscribe button. It's about the algorithms. It's really important. I don't know where you're streaming. It could be Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or on Spotify with Google and Apple Podcasts. I'm everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, Boo Crew. I am literally everywhere. So wherever you're doing this, hit that follow, like, subscribe button, and then do me a favor. Tell your friends and family about the show, because if you like Magic, like I know you do, Boo Crew, come on, share this with everybody. You know you want to. I know I want you to. Hell, my special guest even wants you to. Even the Ravishing One, who I have next to me, does too. So speaking of the Ravishing One, she's the one who makes all the graphics, these wonderful designs for me. So let's introduce the one, the only, the Ravishing Renata. How you doing there, Ravishing?
I'm doing well.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. This was a little impromptu episode. I did not expect this thing to actually happen today, but surprise, surprise, surprise. Our special guest said, "Hey, Dwight, got to talk to you about something." And I'm like, you know what? Let's turn this into an episode. So, what are your thoughts?
I think it's pretty cool. Excuse me. I think it's pretty cool that he came to us and wants to do an episode with us.
Well, you know what? We come together. You know, when
Yeah.
it comes to the Spirit Cruise, come on. We're like this, right? We're not like this. That's how our community should be.
Own.
Exactly. We protect our own. We're one of our own. Damn it. We're spectral brothers. You can sit there and say. So with that being said, it is now time to bring in the young man. What I can say is his knowledge exceeds foremost than any other that I've seen when it comes to the spirit community. I consider him a friend, a pal, hell, a brother at arms. Let me just bring in the one, the only, the gentleman who I call the American Spirit Master. The one, the only, the incomparable Andre Segarra. How you doing there, Andre?
Hey, what's up, Dwight? Hello, Miss Renata.
How you feeling today? You feeling good?
I am feeling great. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So thank you for being here. I know this was a little, we were just talking about almost an hour and a half ago. Like, hey, you came up, you had some ideas, and I'm like, we need to proselytize this. We need to put you and expose you and say, hey, put Andre to the forefront. Let's, I got to put my in chest, depending on what piece you want to be. What piece do you want to be? The rook? You want to be the king or the queen or the knight? You tell me what piece, and I'm going to move you forward.
Oh, for sure. I am definitely a knight, because lately we've been kind of like jumping around, doing a little bit of everything, and going from, different format to format, and even different hobby to hobby, because Magic's not the only game I play. But it's been a pretty exciting month overall, between just some tournament play, Dominaria United being released, and a little bit of everything being shaken up, us getting a sweet new tool, and there's just a lot to talk about right now. I think it's a good time to be alive for spirits.
You know how 2021, I'd say it was the year of the spirits. We got spirits galore. 2022 comes in like a lion, and we get
yeah.
There is a particular card that you've been. I was going to watch the video tonight, but you contacted me. I'm like, do I watch the video or do the show? And I'm like, yeah, slap me with a codfish. Why not do the show? So, yeah, Andre, there's a particular card that you spelled combat research. Share with the Brew Crew a little bit about it.
Sure thing. So, combat research, it is a new aura from Dominaria United, and I've been brewing with it so much I can actually recite it without even needing to look it up now.
Wow.
It costs just a blue, and just like Curious Obsession, it's an aura, and the text is, whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, draw a card. And if it is also legendary, the creature also gets +1/+1 and has ward 1. So
Okay.
while that last paragraph isn't relevant to spirits, the first one certainly is, because even if you don't get a +1/+1 effect, you still have access to another card draw. So
Mm.
instead of playing just 4 Curious Obsessions, what I've been doing is playing Curious Obsession and 2 copies of Combat Research, so
Ooh.
that I've got 6 total of these effects. That makes it a lot easier for you to have turn 2 Geistlight snares and drawing cards, just advancing your gameplay, and your plan is just that much more redundant because you have so many copies of the same effect.
Now,
And
I know
Mhm.
some people are gonna go, Andre, you put 2? What did you happen to
Yeah,
leave out?
and that's gonna be one of the most blasphemous things that I've done in a pretty long time. And
What?
I
You?
mean, listen, I played Demir Spirits, so like me doing blasphemous things should not be news to anybody.
Okay.
But but what
I
I
want to
did
hear this
was,
Demir Spirits thing. I'm excited to hear about it.
I mean, it's kind of old news now since it was from when Luris was still active.
Mm.
And I played Luris of the Dream Den with Hateful Eidolon because it's an enchantment spirit,
Right.
and then it by itself turned Geistlight Snare on. So that was the idea behind that. And then you got
Mm.
to play Deadweight as recurable removal. That
Ooh.
also drew cards with Hateful Eidolon whenever you killed something. So there was like a whole lot of synergy that went along with that, but no Luris, no deck. So kind of moved
Mm.
away from it. Unfortunate because I liked it. It also played Drown in a lock. Um, just all the cool stuff. But anyway, so for combat research, to enable you hitting your opponents as often as possible, and of course
Mhm.
to just find room in the first place without adding 20 cards and making it a Yorian deck, I decided to cut Ascendant Spirit from the deck. And instead of 4 Ascendant Spirits, now I'm playing 2 combat research and 2 lantern bearers to carry the combat research. So you
Okay.
still have 10 1-drops that
Mhm.
give you the ability to start smacking people in the air as soon as turn 2. But with the combination of you putting in extra auras that don't give you +1/+1, and a lot of people playing things that gum up the ground, I found it a little bit lackluster to try attacking on, even on the play, with Ascended Spirit with just a combat research on, because
Mm.
it's really hard to get through a lot of creatures.
Right.
So, people are playing things like Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, even Jaspera Sentinel, which is a 1/2. Like,
Mm.
that's embarrassing trying to attack through that with an Ascendant Spirit. Um, Actually, I think it has reach, so it's also embarrassing with the other one.
Ooh,
But at least
yeah.
Curious Obsession gives it +1. Anyway, not the point. But like Blood Tithe Harvesters, Ledger Shredders, I mean, that's still the same
Mm.
for flyers, but it's a relevant thing. Like Thing in the Ice is an 0/4 on the ground. How does Ascendant Spirit ever get through that? So I was just like, well, we're just gonna play only flyers.
Right.
And playing only flyers reopened me to the possibility of playing Lofty Denial in the main deck too,
Mm.
because now you don't have that really sad, embarrassing moment where you play an Ascendant Spirit, you do a thing, they do a thing, and they play their 2-drop on turn 3, and you can't Lofty Denial it, even though you have a spirit in play. That is embarrassing.
So basically, you're saying you're fearful that your ascended spirit just gonna sit there and just go, just
Unfortunately,
crap
yeah,
the
that
bed.
sound is very applicable to what I think
Mm.
Ascendant Spirit would do right now. And people are playing a lot of this low to the ground removal too, because
Mm.
it's not like 6 months ago where Spirits was just like, oh, it's an outlier deck, whatever, you'll face it maybe once every 3 tournaments. No,
Right.
Spirits is legitimately great right now.
Mhm.
And everybody knows it. It's not even a secret. Um,
I wish it
so
was.
I also wish it was most of the time, but like I'm on the fence about that because like when Spirits
We're
is
getting
good,
viewers. We're getting attention. You and I are content makers. We're like, hey, go
word.
watch the show.
For
Yay.
sure. It's like, and everybody knows that it's good.
Mhm.
So the really good players like Remph, like, oh no, I don't remember the other guy's name, Artur something, also from Brazil.
Mhm.
Like, they are absolutely bodying these challenges left and right. Like,
Yes,
there
they
was
are.
one weekend just 3 weeks ago now, I think it was,
Mhm.
where I played this thing called the Degenerate Gaming Open, and I ended up winning that, going 8-0. I only
Congrats.
lost like thank you. Like I only ended up losing 2 games on the day with Mono Blue Spirits. And then
Okay.
both Remph and Archer won the Saturday and Sunday Pioneer challenges with Bant Spirits. So like
Mhm.
it's not a secret that the deck is fantastic. And even like in the last couple of weeks, I mean, sure, I haven't really been playing much Pioneer anyway, so that's kind of whatever. But I think Artur just top forward another challenge after Remph top forward yet another challenge. So like
it's a rivalry right there between Spirit Masters right there.
I mean, I don't even necessarily think I'm going to call it a rivalry. I like seeing these guys succeed. Like, the only time I don't want somebody else playing Spirits to succeed is if they're my opponent. That's it. That's the only time. If you're not literally my opponent in the match we are playing, I wish you XO everything.
Amen, brother. Amen.
So it's like, so seeing these people do really well with the deck, even if it's not the same version of the deck I'm playing,
Right.
it's fantastic. And honestly, the only reason I'm not playing Bant is just because I don't like Coco. That's it.
Okay.
The deck is good.
That's fair. That's fair.
It just
I mean,
doesn't
we
happen to
all
be the
have our
thing I like.
have our passions. We all have our flavors. Me personally,
sure.
it's like we got you who's mastering the mono blue snow. Then we have Remph and the other young man who's mastering Bant. I'm sitting here like, where the hell's Azorius? I was like, do I have to be the
See,
Azorius guy? Do I
by
need
all
to be
means,
this guy?
maybe.
I'm
Could
down.
very well be you, because like the white versions of the deck have really sick tools too. And oh yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of a plug, but like I've started streaming again, and today was like my first little comeback stream and everything. So you can find it at twitch.tv/Spirit Squad MTG.
There you go. And it's a must follow. I follow Andre. So it's if I follow, it's a moral imperative that you follow Andre as well.
And thank you. And one of the things I want to do is play mono blue. I'm sorry, not mono blue, play a little bit of Azorius, because you get to do a lot of the same things that the mono blue deck does, thanks to the addition of darker wastes to the format. It was just reprinted in Dominaria United.
Thank God.
And God, yeah, I'm sick of making fun of Port Town people. Like I've literally burned all of the copies I own. I don't have any more to actually set on fire.
Not a second bonfire?
I mean, if people send me more, I will make a second bonfire.
Okay.
But
we will try to figure out Andre's address, and we will send him send him Port Towns to create a second bonfire.
Listen, nobody's got to figure it out. If you DM me, I will give it to you. Like, it's not a secret where I live. So, but I am a huge fan of just having access to Selfless Spirit in a format where blue-white control is one of the top 3 decks in the format. I like having Spell Queller in a format where there's a million combo decks. Amen. I like having access to great sideboard cards like Knockout Blow against Red, which is one of your absolute worst matchups. And a super sweet addition that like the Humans players have been all over for like months now, but we Spirits players have really just started adopting in the last few weeks. And I think Remph is the one who started it, but don't quote me on that. Started playing Extraction Specialist in the board. And holy Jesus, that card is good in this deck. So like,
really?
I've absurd.
I've tried it and I'm like maybe I gotta play it more. Maybe it's that. Like this is what it is. I play the deck and it never comes up. So it's like,
oh, okay. So I mean, it's really good for us, especially against the decks that are trying to just like beat you removal for removal. So like what you want to do is you specifically use Extraction Specialist when you're able to, of course, with the cards in your deck that get you value without having to attack or block. And lucky for us, that's half the deck. Because like if you're playing against a deck like say Boros Heroic, and their number one priority is always getting rid of your Shacklegeist, because your Shacklegeist will beat that deck by itself.
Right.
The same goes for like Is It Scissors decks and things like that, where you're just trying to build one attacker and you kind of go tall rather than going wide.
Right.
Shacklegeist absolutely destroys those styles of decks almost without having to resolve another card. So when they get rid of your Shacklegeist, you Extraction Specialist it back, and now you have a life-linking attacking and blocker, but also the ability to just continue tapping it down. So like that's one good way to do it. If you're playing against blue-white control, your Extraction Specialist can buy back your Selfless Spirit. Good luck, blue-white. Like you against a combo deck, you can buy back your Mausoleum Wanderers. It does a lot of really solid work, especially when it comes off of a Coco. Like imagine playing against say like Rakdos mid-range, right? And you guys are fighting back and forth, resource for resource. Maybe you're sacking a Mausoleum Wanderer to protect something, or playing a Rattle Chains to protect something. But finally, after maybe turn 8, they finally manage to live at 9 life, and they have a Graveyard Trespasser, and all your creatures are dead.
Right.
Well, you top deck a Coco. Sucks to be them, because now you
Yep.
get to go, okay, Coco, it's going to hit Extraction Specialist. It's going to hit Extraction Specialist. Extraction Specialist A gets
Mm.
back a Selfless Spirit. Extraction Specialist B gets back a Shacklegeist.
Mm.
How is your opponent participating? That game is over.
Yeah. They're totally the thumbs saying that's bullshit.
Yeah, like they're attacking their 4/4 Graveyard Trespasser into your double, probably indestructible Lifelinkers, and you can also tap down, like, I don't know, the Blood Tithe Harvester that they didn't attack with because they didn't want to walk into your Coco. So, like, they're not participating at all after that resolves. And of course, that's like a best case scenario. But even one Extraction Specialist digging back a Selfless Spirit against blue-white control,
Yeah.
like,
It's a
now
valid point.
they have
Like,
to try to resolve at least 2 Supreme Verdicts just to not die.
true. It's just it might have never come up, so I'm just
Word.
frustrated with it. So, like,
How
maybe
many
I
are you
gotta
playing in
just
your board? 2?
Yeah.
Maybe try one more to see if it comes up more often.
But then,
I mean,
like,
yeah, sure, you
what do
gotta
I
find
take
space for
out?
it and all that, but, like,
Yeah, like, because right now, I'll be honest with you,
yeah.
I put 2 of them in and pulled out the Nebelgast Herald, which I've been
Okay.
promoting left and right. And it's like, I love the Nebelgast Herald. I think that it's been truly beneficial, especially in Azorius. So it's like, but the thing is like, do I want my resources back or do I how to?
Oh,
So
maybe
it
that's the problem, because I don't know if they belong necessarily in Azorius, because you're actually casting them and it's fair, and I don't know if you're really, like, beating a lot of things with Extraction Specialists on fair mode,
right. So
because, like, you're
that's the
not Cocoing them in. So, like, maybe
right.
the problem is that you're trying them in Azorius, where in Bant, they're freaking stellar because they come off of Cocos.
Right. So to see that's the problem with Azorius. We got you Mono Blue Snow champion it. Got Ramfin, kicking ass in Coco. I mean Bant. So it's like I know some Azorius players like myself, like who want to like
Mhm.
we want to be contrarian. I don't know why. I'm just like one of them people. Like I love Mono
Honestly,
Blue Snow. That Mono Blue Snow has always been my baby, but it's like I wanna try to push it differently.
sure, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, you have a lot of directions you can go with without having to add Coco to your deck too. Like, you can go kind of old school, if you will, and go back to playing Watcher of the Spheres. You can
Mm,
play, like, a Curious Obsession based deck like I was doing a while ago with Azorius colors, where you're just like, all right, cool, I have an extra layer of protection with the
right.
creature I'm trying to suit up by playing Selfless Spirit and Spell Queller in addition to your regular 1-drops that you're playing. Like, you have access to a lot of the same white sideboard cards that Bant does without having to jack your mana up as much as Bant does. So, like, there's a lot of value to being able to play Azorius, and really the only thing that you lose by playing Azorius that you don't necessarily have to sacrifice when playing mono blue is Faceless Haven. And yeah, that's a big
Mm,
deal. But at the same time, you're getting Spell Queller, you're getting Selfless Spirit, you're getting basically the world is your oyster as far as sideboard cards are concerned.
right.
So I don't think that's necessarily like left field or even being contrarian as much as like, okay, you just have another set of tools to use.
Right. Well, let me ask you, because I did my last episode of Double
Yeah.
Gas Herald, and you actually admitted saying, "Hey, you know what? Listen to it, on the way to work." Here's
Mhm.
my question: do you use it in that version, the deck that you use with combat research?
So specifically the combat research version, what I've been doing, when I've been playing arenas, I've been playing 2 copies of Brazen Borrower in the spot where I would be playing Nebelgast Herald.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because, I haven't really been playing it in Pioneer. I've been playing it a lot on Explorer, which is,
Okay.
slightly different. So
Pioneer Light.
yeah, basically. And the reason yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty accurate. That's perfect. I might actually adopt that phrasing. But in Pioneer Light, like there is no Arclight Phoenix deck. So
Mm,
there's not really a need to tap down things like, Phoenix itself, Crackling Drake, etc. But blue white control is kind of all over the place because you're trying to combat things like, the Rakdos mid-range decks and a
mm,
ton of Greasefang. And
okay.
Nebelgast Herald is good against Greasefang, but it's honestly kind of poop against Rakdos.
Mm,
But like there's also blue white has access to the new sweeper that they have. It's called Temporary Lockdown.
Okay.
And for anybody who doesn't know what that does, it costs 1 and double white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you exile everything on the battlefield with mana value 2 or less, which is basically our entire deck. Nebelgast Herald has no say-so about that. And almost no say-so about Shark Typhoon tokens. You get some up value
Right.
there, but nowhere near as much as a Brazen Borrower. Like a Borrower Petty Theft will permanently solve that problem. And if they have temporary lockdown, you can just wait until the end of their turn, Petty Theft the lockdown, all the cool stuff comes back. All right, good luck, opponent. Deal with this again. So that's why I've been playing Brazen Borrower in specifically that list. And when I go into playing Pioneer, I'll probably end up going back to playing things like the Nebelgast Herald there, because that's for a slightly different but still technically different environment. And
Right.
Nebelgast Herald has been great in Pioneer for me. Like
Okay.
it was absolutely amazing. It stole complete games by itself. Like I 2-0'd Boros Heroic losing the die roll.
Really?
Like with no portable holes because I was playing mono blue. Like
Okay.
Nebelgast Herald is a absolute house sometimes.
Okay. So you heard it here, but Andre backed up my I can't sell the thesis, but my train of thought when it came to Noble Ghost Herald. And speaking of thesis,
Mhm.
Andre, the reason why I have you on the show is we're gonna have to proselytize you. I'm gonna, I hate to say it this way, pimp you out a little bit.
You are wearing a pink shirt.
Hey now.
Hey.
Now. So
pink, purple, those is pimp colors. I'm here for it.
Hey, I got a strong backhand. But hey, pimping ain't easy. Let me just tell you. I got my gaiters on. Well, there's something that most people may not be aware. I know that you have a Patreon. And a little friend of ours, he's my mentor, my senpai, my sensei, Nikachu, bigged you up big time on
He
Twitter.
did.
And he's like, listen, spirit content, Andre, definitely check out Andre because he has this one thing on his Patreon. And I'll tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, Boo Crew, you need to go to his Patreon because you keep on asking me, hey, how about sideboards? And I'm telling you, for me personally, I could do a sideboard thing, but it's too much time consumed, this and that. I'm not
You're
in
not
that
wrong.
mode right now. But our friend Andre Segarra made a sideboard guide, and I think you need to check out his Patreon to get there. So Andre, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure thing. So I actually went like full try hard mode and actually did 2. So
Wow.
what I did was I made a basic sideboarding theory essay and a advanced sideboarding essay, and they're each about the length of a literal college graduate essay. So if any of you have like master's degrees or above, I'm sure you've written things of at least 3,000 words a piece. And that's what I've done for both halves of this. The basic sideboarding theory article is just, a breakdown of, how sideboard cards work in the world of specifically spirits and the different types of sideboarding cards that you have access to, when to use them, what your format should look like when you're considering specific cards. And I don't just use my own theory. I picked another prolific spirits player, a mono blue spirits player, and detailed out their sideboarding strategy compared to 2 of ours, and then use that combination to come up with a Dominaria United specific sideboard and main deck for mono blue spirits. And that's just the basic one.
Okay.
In the advanced article, what happens there is I further that theory by applying exact sideboarding changes with reasons for all of the top decks, including the mirror matches in Pioneer. So if you're looking for like, I don't know, 5,500 to 6,000 written words on literally just sideboarding, then for sure, like that's the kind of level of detail that I'm looking to provide all of my patrons. So if you want to find that, it'll be right at patreon.com/Spirit Squad MTG.
There you go. So you heard it here, Boo Crew. Be part of his spirit squad. You're part of my boo crew, but be part of his
Mhm.
spirit squad. So, Andre, like I
Mhm.
hear you say pioneer, and I have to ask this question because Dr. Katz, he's the
Yeah,
administrator over at the Discord for spirits
he's been killing it.
in modern.
I've seen it.
So I gotta ask you, and I'm like I got my finger on Renf. I'm like, yo, Renf, come on, we're owning Pioneer. Let's get back to modern. Let's own this. So, Andre,
Mhm.
I'm gonna.
Oh, sure. And I'll even tell you why I haven't been playing much modern.
Okay.
Simply put, I already don't play that much Magic. Like you guys kind of see that from like how little or how often I put my content out because honestly, y'all see about 95% of the Magic I play. Like I don't play much more Magic than what you people see. But my sister happens to live in Atlanta, where
Atlanta.
the DreamHack is.
Okay.
So I've been playing a little bit of Pioneer here and there because, like, once a month or so, I'll hit up one of the RCQs and I'll just be like, all right, if I spike one of these, then I have a great excuse to go visit my sister. But
Hmm.
other than that, to be completely honest, I don't really have too much as far as like Pro Tour aspirations go or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just a really, really nice excuse to go visit my family.
Okay.
And
Well, that's
realistically,
fair. But I'd
even
like.
if I don't queue, I'll probably still go. And when the format changes to modern, great. I'll probably deep dive right back into modern and play
Okay,
that every
good.
week.
Good. That's what I want to hear. I think most of the Boo Crew, the Spirit Squad, wants to hear that because
Yeah,
I've been getting a lot. It's like Dwight, come on, guy. We love the Pioneer. We love the Pioneer content, but give us modern. And it's like
right.
I start leaning toward modern, and then go back to Pioneer. There's
Yeah,
this wonderful stuff, and then something happens in Pioneer, like, and it sucks. It's just like,
right, for sure. And it is true that modern is, I'm not going to say stagnant, but if you are playing modern at like the median to high level, at least like something above FNM, like maybe your RCQs or something are modern where you are, then it's not exactly a super fun experience playing against 4-color control.
uh-uh.
It's it's really just an unfun deck to play against. And in my experience, it's not even that fun to play with. And that does skew a lot of people's experiences because, you know, when you're playing modern, every now and then, sometimes you'll have like one or two blue-white control players in formats past, right? So like rounds can go to time, but not super often. But with 4-color being a thing in the format, every single round goes to time. And it's really annoying. And you're just like, all right, well, I've got 50 minutes to play my 3 games of Magic, but I'm playing Spirits. So I'm done in like 13 minutes. And every single one of these rounds is taking closer to 60. So
Right.
I'm just kind of like, bored like this with my face on my hand half the time
That's why you have a
because
Nintendo Switch.
I literally have 2. I'm not even kidding.
I need a second one in the house because my wife constantly takes mine. It's just like great.
Actually, why I got the second one because I bought a second one so that Kristen could take my first.
Because my wife is always
So
playing, Legend of Zelda and all this other, and I just want to play Mario Kart. That's just it. Just Mario
oh,
Kart
word.
8. That's it. That's it.
Okay. Honestly, that's one of the good ones. I like Mario Kart 8, which is actually really funny. Kristen and I played, her N64 is next to my TV over there, and she absolutely destroys me in Mario Kart 64 so badly that it's almost to the point where I'm like, man, I don't even want to play this more than once every couple of months. It is rough, but it's fun. Like, she actually gets to go, oh, cool. Like, I can absolutely destroy you in this game. I'm like, you're not wrong. I will get my teeth kicked in every single time she
Mm.
so much as looks at the controller. But
That's how I feel with my wife in every other video game. I'm like, okay, let's do Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I guarantee you, I can go further. That's it. But
okay.
other than that,
And
she kicks my ass in everything.
oh, nice. I mean, that's a good one to be good at those. Like Punch Out's a sweet game. Man, I actually should probably play that. It's actually on the, I think, Super Nintendo pack for the Nintendo Switch.
Is it?
It's either on the NES or the Super Nintendo pack.
It
I
should be
know
the
it's on
NES
one of
because
them.
Mike
I mean,
Tyson's.
the
Well, I don't
original
know if
one's on the NES,
I
but
don't even I don't even know if they call it Mike Tyson's anymore because of the licensing issue.
right, the whole thing, yeah. Because like I don't know if it's the second version of that or the one that's literally called Super Punch Out for the Super Nintendo. I don't know which one it is, but I remember scrolling past and seeing some of the titles.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it
Um,
out.
So if you already have like the yearly subscription, then you already have access to it. You don't need to pay anymore for
There
that.
you go. Well, before we end the show, I have to ask you one other question.
Yeah.
I there was a particular art that I bid on, and unfortunately, I failed in getting the bid. And it was the
Dude, I saw
RCQ
that.
art of the Selfless Spirit.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was pissed. I missed it by $50.
Oh,
I
oh man.
Yeah, so it went for 1,250. Let me ask you,
Okay.
me personally, as you know, I collect I'm not going to call myself a whale. I'm a big fat guy, but I'm not a whale.
I get what you mean.
But I got a question for you. What do
Yeah.
you think of that card, the artwork on that Selfless?
I remember looking at it and liking it, but to be honest, I am really bad with images, so I'm gonna have to cheat and look it up.
Okay.
Which is really funny. Actually, for the most part, if I'm not looking right at a card design, then everything is blocks of text to me, which is why I know what Combat Research says in its text box.
Okay.
But if you ask me to describe the picture, no shot.
It's a lady reading a book, doing strategy.
Oh, make sure she's doing research. Okay, I understand that. But yeah, like my picture recognition is absolutely terrible. Like they even have
if I showed you a picture of a ranker, you'd go, "What the hell is this?"
The new one, yeah. The old one, I actually do know the old one by recognition because I used to play Pauper Bogles. So like, only reason.
Okay. My Pauper game is Boros Bully. That's
okay. That deck's really good. Are you playing the Gates version or the like regular without the Gates?
Regular without the Gates.
Word.
I didn't even know there was a Gates version.
Oh yeah, it plays like Basilisk Gate, and that's the one that I think pumps power and toughness, where X is the number of gates that you have.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say like, yeah, look it up because like it's different, and I think the mana is a little bit worse for having to play Boros Guild Gate, but it's a lot more powerful because of the pump gate.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into it because the other one I play is Mono Black Panza, which I love that deck.
Yeah, I believe you.
Just to pissing people off.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, turn two. No, blow that.
I like this art. Okay, so I'm looking at it now. Like I said, I actually did have to cheat and look it up, and it's got like, it's
swords
got like
and
the
knives
spirit
and
itself
axes.
with like, yeah, it's almost looks like one of those magician things where like somebody sits in a box and a magician like stabs them with a bunch of swords, and it's like they finally come out okay. It's like ta-da,
This one's an epic fail. Like, oh,
it's like, oh no, there's blood. Help! But no, I like this. It's, it looks very selfless. It looks like a bunch of people like did a full-on Julius Caesar execution to this thing.
Oh wow!
And
full frontal Julius Caesar.
And I'm here for it. Like I will probably be getting a few of these whenever they come out.
Well, I'm desperate to get my hands on. I'm trust me. I've already got to my LGSs. Like I got like 4 LGSs by me, and I'm like,
yeah,
if you get it in, I'll pay top dollar. I want these if I don't win.
Right. And I think actually it's really funny that you mentioned that because like at my LGSs, I automatically assume I will have my hands on these from the top 8s, especially since people know that I don't play foils. So like if they
you don't, I play foil, so that's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like decks that are 100% foil because they look nice. Like, cards.
Well, if you get the foil ones, you don't have to worry about it. Send them my way. Like Port Towns, they send to you. You can send the foils to me. Don't send them my way.
I really will hit you up if I end up like getting a couple.
There you go.
Because like I said, I'm positive people are going to just be like, oh, this thing says spirit on it. Therefore, I should send them to Dre. And they will be correct. I want them.
I have that issue. Sometimes like, oh, are you looking for the spirit? We have a spirit here. I'm like, I already have this one. Thank you. Appreciate the thought.
Right? Like I even had like one of my friends, he actually it's really funny because he just bought all of the Nykthos that I had. Because I'm like, I'm never going to use this card. But I got him as prizes in RCQs. So like, what am I gonna do with these? And he's like, I'm building mono green. I'm like, perfect, run it. And one day a few years ago, he just comes up to me and is like, hey, I've got this foil spectral sailor. And I'm just like, in the event that I build this deck foil for some reason, sure. And I still have it. It's in one of my binders somewhere.
Nice.
And I'm just like, but it is the only foil. No, that's false. I have 3 foil remorseful clerics too. I don't know why. and I don't know when I got them, but they're in a box somewhere.
See, my thing is my modern deck is completely foiled extended art.
Mm,
You know,
word.
like even the Force of Negations, like I had to get extended art. So it's like,
Okay.
okay. But now it's like, do I do it for Pioneer? And I'm like,
Mm.
the
That's
wallet's already hurting.
upside downside. Like upside, if you like playing mono blue, then minus the snow covered islands,
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
right.
And since the snow covered islands just got like another new printing in the secret layers, if you don't have to go for those ones, the Kaldheim ones are really cheap.
Mm.
So there is that as far as upsides.
Ravishing. And she is mute. And the thing is that there's no she's not there's the mute button's not even hit. And she's just like,
Okay, so
yeah, so
we're
yeah,
gonna nix that idea. Understood.
Yep. She tapped 2 blue, counter spell.
Listen,
You
man, I
got
tried to get it
negated.
to you for the cheapest possible. If it got nixed anyway, I did what I could.
Yeah. I was like, happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house.
For sure.
Mm.
And
So I
like
recommend if you're a Spirit player, get married.
right. So it's actually really funny you bring that up because right before the show started, I even made sure to tell Dwight too. It's like, hey, I know that to make sure that we were able to do this, you had to check in with your lady. And before I said yes, I had already checked in with mine.
There you
because,
go.
We all know the rules. You follow the same rules. It's,
so this is for advice for all the Spirit crew, Spirit squad. If you're married, chicken with the significant other, just so you can save yourself time on the couch.
Just, as the kids like to say, just play around it.
There you go. So once again, I want to thank Andre for being on the show. Andre's here to promote his Patreon because he has an amazing sideboard essay or essays of just normal and then advanced. And the only way to get it is to go to Andre's Patreon. I'll go ahead, Andre, let people know the name of the Patreon.
Oh, sure thing. So it'll be patreon.com/spirit-squad-mtg.
There you go. So it's a moral imperative. And also, while you're here, Ravishing, why don't you bring it up? Because the fact that we're promoting here, mtgectoplasm.com. We're promoting our t-shirts. Get them while they're hot. All sizes for men and women. That's right. You got MTG Ectoplasm, MTG Ectoplasm IRL, because I do a live show with my boy, New Dan, and then gameplay, which I'm starting to do, and then you got this hot refreshing coffee mug here.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at, was the mug.
There you
I
go.
love that.
It's hot and sexy. So come and check it out at mtgectoplasm.com. You can move that away. And I want to show the Brew Crew something new. Somebody asked, hey, when are we going to get Brew Crew t-shirts? It just came in. The Brew Crew t-shirt. Nice. So if you want to support the show, besides you want to support Andre, go to his Patreon. You want to support me, buy a t-shirt. And it looks great at an FNM. I'm telling you. You wear it there at FNM, we're going to go, the hell is that? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So check it
They're
out.
Gonna go, I know what you're playing, but that's a sweet shirt.
Exactly. You should see when I play my foil, put my playmat that's foiled out. They're like, the hell? I was like, oh, you're one of them. Like, yes.
Oh, you're one of them. See, that's the one thing. I will give you that though, about specifically playing like foiled decks with all the accessories and things like that, because that really just screams to your opponent. I do not care if you know what I'm playing. I've invested so much time and money into this deck that you know that I know what I'm doing. And there's got to be some certain amount of intimidating factor to that, right? Where you're just like,
it's foil flexing, as my boy said. It's foil flexing. It's like,
right, it's like
I don't have to do this. I just go, ha ha ha.
Right? Where you're just like, hey, foil flooded strand, foil hollow fountain, tap this, foil aether vial, and your opponent is like, oh, I am in for some BS today. I already do not want to be here.
Extended heart foil Cavern of Souls with the masterpiece aether vial? Sure. What?
Exactly. And then, of course, you play the exact spirit that happens to mess with what they're doing, too. So it's not only are you being flexed on and your eyes probably hurt from looking at all the shininess, you're also being flexed on by not actually being able to do anything because we're playing spirits.
Oh, you're playing that Ragavan? Oh, I tapped my Masterpiece Aetherfest foil to play a promo foiled extended art Skyclave Apparition.
Nice. Oh. Yeah. Or it's like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and, tap my secret lair foil Moreland Haunt to make a blocker for your Ragavan.
How
Nice
did you know I
deck
had that?
opponent. Because
How
you
did you
should.
know I
That
had that?
card's great.
I know because I saw a picture of you having it. I was like, they made that. I need to get my hands on that card. So
Oh,
thanks to you, I got that card.
nice. Yeah, no,
So
I
thank you.
snapped up to as soon as I learned they existed because nobody told me either. And okay, that's false. One person told me. But it took like 2 to 3 days after the secret lair actually like dropped. And I just like didn't know it was a thing, right? Because I don't really pay that much attention to the secret lairs and stuff.
Right, neither do
And
I.
one of the guys is like, yo, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but I haven't heard you ranting and raving about it. Because it came out like not too long after the Mina Harker version of Thalia, which I didn't shut up about for like a month straight. and it's like, oh, you should get these. And I'm just like, I don't care how much they are. I absolutely need them. And then it turned out they were only like $2 anyway. So I'm just like, oh, well, that's an extra benefit, right? Like I was already going to get them, even if they were like $25 a piece. So the fact that they're two, perfect.
All I know is I hope these extended art selfless spirits are dirt cheap. I'm just paying like $5, knowing they're big.
Oh, that would be nice. I mean, realistically, they're RCQ, so they'll probably be like 7 to 10. But I don't care. If they're 25, I'm still going to get them.
And because you're a Thalia guy, this is something I want you to consider. There are 9 separate different arts of Thalia.
That many? Oh, that makes sense because they had 4 different secret layers. Okay.
So what I'm going to tell you, and you should do, is collect all 9 and put it into a picture frame, so you have all the versions of Thalia.
That's fair. Yeah, like man, there's really that many. Like I know there's at least like 6 or 7, but 9 is a lot.
9 total. Yeah, trust me, I was thinking about doing it myself because I like Thalia. Well, you love Thalia far more than I ever do, but
that's fair.
I do like Thalia.
Thalia and I are some very, very good friends. I have stolen a lot of games with her.
Combat research, you know, it is a legend. It gets +1/+1, turning her into a 3/2 for a striker.
With ward. It's nice. It's like, oh, cool. Let's kill her. All right.
Just
pay the Thalia tax. Pay the combat research tax. Oh, okay. Now wait for me to have a response because I'm still playing spirits.
Oh, they have to pay the mana cost for the Thalia, and then they have to pay the combat research on top of that.
It's a lot to deal with for sure.
So I'm just saying, you know, makes you want to come back to Modern, Andre. Just saying.
I mean, I don't hate Modern. Just like I said, the only reason I'm not playing that much Modern right now is because the tournaments to get to where my sister happens to live just happen to be Pioneer. If they were Modern, I'd be playing Modern every week.
There you go. So there you go. Thank you, Andre, for taking your time here. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, follow Andre. It's a moral imperative. Follow him on his Patreon. Patreon one more time, Andre.
It's going to be patreon.com/Spirit Squad MTG.
Spirit Squad MTG.
Yeah, and if y'all watch me on a video and you see me drinking out of a MTG Ectoplasm sweet coffee mug, don't be surprised.
Oh, and the best part on the other side, it just says Ectoplasm, but I think we didn't. Nice. The new one has that's Bushi. Yes. Okay, it says that's Bushi on the other side.
Nice.
So,
there we go.
There we go. So that's how we do the brew crew. We're like this, not like this. You know, there's no rivalry here. It's
no, we like to see everybody needs to eat for sure. I'm here for it.
Amen, brother. And I'm a fat guy, and I love eating. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for Andre for being on the show. And remember, the next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, that's Bushi.